Hey, how's it going, everyone? Freddie here. I was going to record a different video today, but I was making beats last night on the MPC Live, and then I was like, well, we might as well just play some beats rather than me trying to talk a lot. Anyway, I broke out the old trusty MPC Ren, and yeah, we're going to go into it. So a lot of these beats I kind of started on the MPC Live, and then I'm running the MPC 2.2 software on my computer here. You can't see it, but it's on my computer here. And if you're familiar with the Ren is just basically, or the MPC Renaissance is just basically a controller that you have to use with software. If you're unfamiliar with the MPC Renaissance, they made it to look like kind of like your traditional style MPC, like the 2500 or the 3000 or the 2000 XL, even the 4000 or whatever. And yeah, it's just basically a controller. There's no like internal kind of things going on where you can save, and no kind of recording directly into it, or you can't use it as a standalone. It's meant to be used with software. But let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully I have everything on here right. Drums, sample. You probably can't see the small screen, and you can't see the computer here. I'll just quickly go over this. This first beat is just kind of like a skeleton. Like a lot of beats that I do on the MPC, they kind of just start as like a small skeleton, and then we kind of export everything we build onto that. But the initial idea starts on the MPC and then kind of breaks out from there. But here's some samples, piano sample. So the way I played it was... And then I have some drums on here, which is this. I'll solo the drums. And then I have some other stuff on here. Here's the bass line. And I think for the bass line, I just hooked up my keyboard directly to the MPC Live, and then just recorded audio straight from the keyboard. I have a kind of like a synthesizer that I use. This is just like a percussion kind of loop, or like a vocal kind of loop, and that is unused. And I think that is it. So let's go ahead and listen to the whole thing. So I'll play the sample first so you can kind of get a feel for it. simple stuff. Yeah, let's just get into the next one, I guess. Okay, this is a little bit of a slower one. Usually when I make beats, I kind of like stick around like 90 to like 95 or something like that. And then I don't really make beats like too slower than that. I make beats like maybe, I don't know, 87 would be my slowest. But then I've been trying to make beats like around 80 to 85 lately. It's kind of like a little bit of a weird adjustment for me, but these are kind of one of those smaller ones, or slower ones. So here's a sample. So I just kind of played it like this. And then the drums are this. And then this is just a kick. And then this is, I don't know. I think it's a synth. Oh no, this is the synth. Well, you'll hear it later in the thing. Here's the bass line. And again, I just hooked up my keyboard directly to the MPC Live. Just recorded straight off the keyboard. And this is like a piano kind of melody that I played on top of it. And I think that is it. Let's listen to the whole thing. Vintage mode. And here's the synth by itself. And then, like again, I just played the synth directly into the MPC and just recorded the audio. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then whenever I work with the MPC, I usually do like 8-bar loops. I don't really do like shorter than that. Just kind of like play everything out to 8 bars. But yeah, let's get into the next one. Okay, this next one is a pretty chill beat. Let me just see what I have here. So this is the drums. So I have like basically the drums on 3 different tracks. Kicks on one track, snares on one track, hi-hats on one track. Are all on separate tracks. But it's basically the same program. So I took a drum loop and I chopped it up the way I wanted it to, and then I just kind of separated the tracks on that. This is the sample. that's pretty much the chops. This is just a hi-hat loop, and this is, I don't know. Oh, I think this is so I recorded this beat I made on the software. So I used the Renaissance, and then I just used the MPC software, and then I recorded directly into my audio interface on the computer, and then you have this basically. Whoops. Just go audio and solid. So this is the bass line. This is from my digital synth directly into the computer. And then same thing, my digital synth directly into the computer, just like a flute synth that I'm just playing on the keys. Okay. Let's go to MIDI again. So here's everything except for the bass line and the flutes. Here's the bass line. Here's the flute. Yeah. And if we go to, let's just hear the drums by themselves. Back to MIDI. So here's the drums by themselves. So what I'll usually do is just quantize the snare, and then play in everything else without any quantization. Pretty simple drum loop. Start track mutes here. Here's the flute. This has like some reverb and delay on it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty chill, simple beat. See if we can go to the sample here. So you can kind of see how the chops are. I think there's some effects on this as well. So for the sample, there's just like a low pass filter that I just kind of adjusted, and there's just like reverb pretty much, and I think maybe a small delay on it. I just basically chopped it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, let's get into the next one. All right, this next one's a little bit more complicated than those last two. Complicated. So here's the sample that I basically just chopped. So I played it like this. Yeah, pretty simple chops. And then this is the drums. This I just playing the intro to the sample on top of the already existing chops, because these chops didn't really have anything to fight with, meaning like they didn't have any like drums or bass lines or anything. It was just like the guitar, and then I just added like some delay and reverb to it. So this one plays on top of the existing sample. And then the drums are this. Pretty simple drums. And then the bass line, I just loaded a key group on the MPC Live, and then I just hooked up a MIDI keyboard to the MPC Live, and then I just played the key groups with the keyboard. So just kind of like a subby kind of a bass. Yeah, and then this is just kind of like a hi-hat loop. It's layered on top of that. And then I found like these like vocal samples. That kind of match the same kind of tone as the overall sample. And I'm just playing that over it. It's kind of like just like an accent to it. And I think that's about it. Here, let's listen to everything together here. This is without that last vocal kind of chop. I'll bring that in later. go back to this. Sometimes I forget like what is what here. Let's mute this one. So this is without the layering of these additional samples. This is what it would sound like. And then here it is with the layering. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe we can kind of like just hear the drums dry here. I think this is the drums. Pretty simple drums. Just bringing the sample. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again for tuning in. I know this video is just like a little short, just us playing beats, but for my next video, I kind of wanted to show everybody the apps that I use on my iPad. I know the new iPad just came out and it's way more powerful and blah, 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 or the iPad Pro anyway. But I wanted to show a few apps that I actually use on the daily that kind of help with my, not just production, but the workflow that I kind of use. The iPad is kind of like a little bit of an underrated tool when it comes to making music, I think. Of course, you know, people do utilize it, but I know apps can kind of get expensive, and, you know, when you're purchasing a bunch of apps, it kind of stacks up. But there are a few that actually are, I think, worth the price or worth getting, especially if you're an Ableton user, or if you're using your iPad in conjunction with something else like an MPC, or of course with the computer. There's a lot of cool apps that you can use, like with Ableton or like Pro Tools or Logic, that kind of help kind of with workflow, I guess, and make things a little bit easier. As well as, there's a few synths on the iPad that I really like to use, and I use that kind of in my production. But I'll go over that in a different video. But thanks again for tuning in. This is Freddie again. Thanks.